Okay, everybody, here it is. The first look at my new mower. This thing's sweet. Well, the crating, the packaging, all that looks good. This is a finished cut pull behind mower made by Swisher. It's got a 66-inch deck on it. It's actually listed for like commercial usage. I don't care. I have a lot of property I gotta cut, and the thing that really drew me to this is that the reviews on it were really good. The deck will lift up to, I believe, about 7 inches. So I'm able to cut the taller grass over the property without having to worry about hitting sticks and rocks and stuff. But then it'll drop down to up to 1 inch, so you can get a really nice finished cut on your yard. It's got a Kawasaki 14.5 horsepower motor on it, and I'll be hopefully pulling it with the Honda 4Trax. Stay tuned for when we build this. Oh, that sucks. That's why you always wear shoes, not slippers. Okay, everybody, here it is. Once again, this is the Swisher fast finish cut 66-inch pull behind mower, cutter, whatever you want to call it. Now I went with this, like I said, because it's something that I can lift the deck up high enough that I can cut the higher grass over at the field. Now I know in that field it's a lot of high grass. I said I could cut brush with it. They say this thing can cut up to 3-inch thick saplings. Probably not going to be needing to do that over at the property. It's mainly just the field grass I need to kind of get under control. And then, so it'll pick up to 5 inches tall. It'll cut down to 1 inch. So in theory, I should be able to use it here at my house, and my yard does keep going that way. I have an 1.5 acres here at my house, and it is on a hill. So we'll give this thing a try out here before I take it over to the property and really test it out. But I mean, just overall, the first appearances, first impression, everything seems really heavy duty, really well built. They use some is that 1/8 inch steel. I mean, it's solid. This thing's heavy. You know, it's all the welds look nice, and that is one thing I'm pretty fortunate in, that anytime my dad has bought a new piece of machinery, whether it be machines or trailers or trucks, he always looks at the welds, because if there's shoddy welds, if it looks like bird poop and there's like splatter everywhere, that's a dead giveaway that it's not really made with quality. So first thing I did was I looked at all the welds, and as you can see, they all look nice. I really don't see any indication of, like, you know, someone had ground down welds. It looks like everything is really good and solid. There's no gaps or anything. Now, two things I will say that I am a little iffy about is, when I was putting this together, I noticed that inside these wheels here, there are grease fittings. So there's one right there. All 4 wheels have these, so I can keep the bearings and the wheels nice and greased. There are no grease fittings here on these 2 front tires that swivel. I would have really liked to see a grease fitting on this, so I'll probably just get a couple, drill a hole here, drill one here, tap it, and run it in. Grease fittings are pretty easy to install, but then that way I can keep this housing pumped full of grease. This is going to swivel really nice, because there's a top bearing and a bottom bearing, and once those bearings go, this is going to wobble really bad. It'll throw the belt off, it'll throw this thing out of adjustment, and it'll cause problems. So I'll probably end up doing that. So that was one. And then the second thing that I really didn't care for, but it's really not even that big of a deal, it's just something to nitpick about, the battery terminal cables. So I did read online, this doesn't come with a battery. Knew that going into it, so whatever, I'll spend another $50 and get a battery, no big deal. But I opened the crate, and there was a nut laying right here, and I said, what does that go to? Well, you see your negative battery cable has a bolt and a nut in it. Looks like we lost the one for the positive terminal. So I found the nut, didn't find the bolt, so I'll just have to get another bolt. No big deal. They're like 20 cents. So, but I mean, those are the 2 big things right now that I saw, and I say big things, but they are pretty minute. Then I guess the adjustment bar for your actual tow behind, I was like, oh man, did they forget that? Where is it? So it's actually right here. It came in this housing here. This just swings up right here. Here's where your hitch goes, and as you can see, it's just a drop pin, and it seems like a really good quality. It's nice and thick. It's not one of those little chintzy ones that you can bend with a pair of pliers. So yeah, so this is actually, the way they ship it is set up for like if you're going to pull it off to the side of you. So your quad or your UTV, whatever, it's going to hook here, and it's going to be off to the side. Now this does adjust. This will pull out. You can adjust it that way, and they give you a couple of those drop-in pins there to make sure this thing's solid. Now if you want to switch it to where you're just pulling it straight behind you, it's actually pretty easy. You pull this drop pin here, pull that out, this whole thing just slides right out. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. Right out like so. Then you take that, stick it over here, but first pull that drop pin. Boom, right like that, and then try to get this. You'll see there a little gap that comes through here. Boom. Stick your drop pin back in, and again, I apologize, I'm doing this one-handed. That pushes down. Bam. So now you're set up to pull it directly behind you. And again, you can adjust it to make sure you have the proper clearance, so it's not super close to your machine or whatever you're pulling it behind. As you can see, I mean, there's a little bit of play there, but I guess that's a good thing. You don't want it to be completely solid in case it starts bouncing around. So we'll flip that back right like that. And then there's actually another one right here that I just stuck in an open hole. You can, there we go. There's holes here and there's holes here. So if you need to offset this one way or the other, you can do that. But you just line up one of these holes here, drop this pin in like so, and now that bar is secure. You can pull that around. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and probably go down to our local auto parts store tomorrow and get a battery and a battery terminal bolt. And yeah, I'm anxious to get this thing going. I'd like to read more about it, but just some of the things I remember off the top of my head. It has a 2.5 gallon gas tank. It has 14.5 horsepower. It's a V-twin Kawasaki motor. So it should have plenty of power for what I'm doing. This thing is sweet. All right, everybody, the day has come. We are putting our Swisher 66-inch tow-behind mower to the test. We're over here at the Freedom Compound, and as you can see, that grass is really high. In some areas, I'm gonna say it's probably 3, maybe 4 feet tall. In the backside, I was walking there the other day, it's probably only 2 feet tall over there. So we're gonna go ahead, get this unloaded, get the camera set up, and get mowing. But first, need a little bit of America. That's better. Now it's time to get mowing. Also, one thing I did want to note before we got started is that because the grass over here is so high, you can see how high up on the quad it is, I do have the adjustments up to the full 5 inches. So we're gonna run around as much property as we can with the gas that I have. I did forget to bring my gas can at 5 inches, and we'll see how it does with that, and then reevaluate. So let's get to it. Okay, everybody, so everything was going great. You know, we were trucking along, cutting down by the driveway, then we jumped up here and started cutting this part of the field. I would say in total we probably got, if I had to guess, I would say probably 2.5 acres cut. I don't have my phone on me, so I don't know what time it is, but I can't imagine I've been here longer than an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now, I know it would have went a lot quicker had I kept up on this, but you know, I had some things going on with my computer. I had, you know, a bunch of work I had to get caught up on. You know, I can't have my dad's work slacking because I want to come mow grass over at the property. So the grass, obviously, as you can see, in comparison, is extremely tall. And once I made like one pass around and got, you know, a bunch of stuff cut down, it really mowed a lot easier. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Now, the one thing I would like to point out is that this is a finish cut mower. It's not actually a brush hog. Now, they say it'll cut saplings and, you know, sticks and whatever else up to 3 inches in diameter, but it is not meant to be a brush hog. So I think we're past that line where I probably should have used a brush hog first, and it would have went so much faster. But I don't have a brush hog, and you know, I wanted to really test this thing out to see how well Swisher makes their products. And in my opinion, I am extremely satisfied. The only reason I'm stopping now is because I'm out of gas. Otherwise, I would continue cutting and try to get back by the creek mowed down so I can monitor the creek and make sure those beavers don't come back. If you miss any of those videos, here's a link to one. But I mean, so far, I'm really liking this Swisher mower. The one complaint I saw, I think I talked about this, it's been probably a month or so, maybe a little longer. Really the only complaint I saw on the reviews that I got were that it was a pain to put together. Well, let me turn this off so I don't forget and kill the battery. But honestly, whenever it showed up at my house, I had to put the wheels on, and that was it. I'm sorry, but if you can't figure out how to put the wheels on this thing, it's very simple, then maybe you shouldn't be using this. But regardless, I am very satisfied with my Swisher Commercial Pro 66-inch fast finish pull behind mower. That Kawasaki V-twin motor is just really pumping out the horsepower. I believe it has about 14.5 horsepower. The battery, you know, once I got that situation figured out, it was awesome. Fires right up, no problems. This is something I'm definitely going to make a point to take care of, because not only is it expensive, it is so much faster than using my, I don't even know what it is, a 42-inch mowing deck riding mower. Plus it's fun, I get to ride around on the 4-tracks and she just always kills it. So yeah. Okay, so I just came down to the truck, I checked the time, and I was right. That took me about an hour and a half to cut, I would say a little over 2 acres. Now again, you know, the grass is super tall. I had to make multiple passes to get it cut down. But I mean, for the most part, the majority of this stuff is ready for something, you know, on a smaller setting. Now I did a pretty wide area on this side of the driveway. You can see that the whole way down. And then I did the area on the other side of the driveway as well. Now I couldn't go as wide because there's a little bit of an embankment there. So as you guys saw, I had to kind of crawl up that in the one spot. Now I really wanted to make sure I got this stuff cut down because I have this pile of crushed concrete and gravel. I am almost ready to start digging the driveway in for our house. So I kind of wanted to get all this stuff cut down so that I could paint out some lines. Rachel and I can, you know, paint out some lines for the house as well, and really kind of get a good idea of where we want our driveway to come in and meet this lane. So that's why I chose to do these areas first. Probably later this week I'll be back with some more gas to cut the rest of it, but I had a lot of fun doing that. So if you guys are interested in a pull behind mower that you can use behind a quad or UTV or even another tractor, definitely check out the Swisher Commercial Pro 66-inch fast finish cut. The thing is a beast, and as I'm seeing firsthand, it will cut through extremely tall grass. So I've officially hit dad mode where I enjoy cutting grass. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Gunpowder and Freedom. If you like what you saw, please click the like and subscribe. Don't forget to like us on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.